we're going to be breaking down a relatively high-level Protoss versus Zerg. I'm the Protoss, John Bomb the Zerg. A Master Tournament Finals. What does that mean? Very little. But I'm actually just going to talk about pretty much what I'm thinking, because I have a tendency to, when I'm playing ladder, the game is hard, and I spend a lot of time commentating your mediocre replays and not really looking at mine. When I am actually playing, I tend to focus on that. So, first thought process. Well, the first pylon goes at the back, because you can wall off with 3 large buildings, and that leaves a gap just large enough for an adept or a zealot or a sentry or stalk or whatever. The first probe goes out from the pylon to potentially block the hatch. If they're a little late on their hatch, or they go for a 17 or 18 hatch, you can usually get the probe there in time. If they go for an earlier hatch because they spot it, or depending on the map, you might not. So what I'm noticing here is he's built several more drones. Like, he got the hatch, which might have been a little early, but he got 3 more drones before building a extractor and spawning pool. So that means 1, I can maybe put some pressure on with the depths. 2, he might be looking for a quick 3rd. And yeah, the difference between really focusing on adept pressure and just kind of doing a scouting adept is sometimes like 1 or 2 different drones, because that's the difference between getting 2 shades into their base and 1 before speed finishes. So the first gas, I like the robo. I like the robo openers. You might be like, well, what's the meta right now? The answer is I don't really care, because I suck too much for it to matter. I'd say right now the most common is Stargate into just straight up robo play. But I like to go robo because then I don't have to micro Stargate units poorly. That's my preference. So I'm already thinking, let's go 2 adepts. Getting more gas. We've seen the Protoss build order before. Second pylon near the mineral line, so it's a super pylon. If it's some sort of all-in, or I need something later on, that can also serve as a semi-wall. Like, say he does a huge Roachling all-in, then maybe in your Oranitis, then you have something to potentially wall off in your main, and that can be the difference between losing all your probes and only losing a couple. So I have the hotkeys are all different here. My first hotkey is the adept. My second hotkey is a builder probe. I usually like to hotkey a builder worker for Terran and Protoss. That is, especially early on, that's the probe that's going to build my Nexus, build my pylons, so that way I'm not going back to my base being like, well, you're the probe I select, accidentally selecting like 7 probes. And on 3 is my scouting probe, so that way I don't have to go look at the scouting probe to bring it back. I can just see on the mini-map it's getting attacked and bring it back that way. So I shaded my first adept into the main. You might have noticed. That was a mistake. I meant to cancel and join up with the second adept to do a 2 adept pressure. I fucked it up. So that kind of defeated the purpose of going for the second adept, because if you're not going to do a 2 adept pressure, you might as well get a stalker to snipe the overlord that is scouting, for example. But at that point, you're already kind of... The plan has to be adjusted. So I'm doing what I like about this, like 3-gate robo, and then a warp prism right off the bat. I know as a Zerg, and as a Zerg, my worst matchup is against Protoss. Even if you scouted what they have, you have no idea how committed they are. Like, this is such a weird amount of units. They come out with an immortal, a few sentries, and you don't know if he's going to try to kill you or if he's just going to poke. So pretty much I come up, I see an overlord. I know he spotted it a while ago. He saw the immortal a while ago. So just turn around. Kill the OV, and if we look at the production tab, the worker count right now, he actually got more drones than I thought. But he thinks a big attack is coming, and it could. I could keep walking across and try to work with the sentries, but I think it's been spotted for so long that this is just gambling. It's calculated gambling, but there's a chance that he calls the bluff and just builds drones the whole time. And now this is a pretty hard supply block as well. I should have had a pylon. I just immediately went for the third because I know at this stage of the game, either he's all-inning and I'll just cancel the third, or he's not and he's still on mostly hatch tech. So, yeah, scouting. He does have a lair, but no second gas. Getting down here, looking for the roach one, spot the roach one, see the gases, see there's no drones on the third, which means he's either limited to some sort of really quick like Nidus, which I'm not scared of, I already have pylons for, or it's going to be like a big roach link. I feel like because there's no drones on the third, I've kind of baited him a little bit into doing a big roach link pressure. And I'm actually looking here now, like, he built around drones. I didn't... So I thought he had between 40 and 50 drones, probably closer to 50. He's going to eventually do a big roach link pressure. But I think I misjudged that. Yeah, 56 drones, which is 3 base saturation of minerals, not also with gas. So I see the roach horns upgrading there, which means it's going to be roaches. And this many links, spotting 3 Ravagers. I'm not worried about really killing drones now. Ravager link. He doesn't have the gas to do anything but Ravager link. At some point it could be Mutis, but right now Ravager link. So, shield batteries, SimCity. Don't spend any more Sentry energy because you need force field. And I always underestimate these attacks. This is me fucking up the probe. Is why that keeps happening. Because I have the mouse micro of a literal mouse. But from here, charge lots. Well, charge lots with +1 are ideal, but honestly, adepts might be better in some scenarios. But the force field timing, super important. I usually hold shift so that they just, and that was a bit of a fuck up there because I re-force fielded before the corrosive biles landed, wasting energy. The warpins are supposed to draw the Zerglings away so they're not on top of the Immortals. The Immortals, not very efficient against Zerglings, but this is the SimCity that's set up. Kind of funneling units is the objective here. Now, at this point, I'm like, oh shit. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to go, but you just got to keep microing and hoping for the best. Big mistake, I didn't recall the prism. I was thinking about it at some point, but I forgot to recall the prism before the fight, and now I'm just bringing it back because I'm like, oh well. Pretty much all this time is trying to keep as many Immortals alive until charge finishes. I was panicking. I wasn't chrono boosting charge. If I had chrono boosted charge, I think those Ravagers die, and I'm in a very good spot. Because, I mean, the difference here is look at the money in the bank. Even if he builds another round of units, if I kill those Ravagers, I should be able to get across the map. I am spending all my money, but I wasn't chrono boosting very efficiently at all. I think I had a Nexus at 200 at some point. So, as soon as he backs off, my immediate thought is, are there Mutas? Because what would you do? This is where being a random player can help or hurt. I guess it depends, but I'm thinking there are 2 options here. Either he just does like another bigger round of this same thing, in which case I need a big ground army and I need to just sit back and put together as close to 200 supply as I can. Or 2, he's going Mutas, in which case I need to either get Archons or Stargates like now. Because I'm not 100% sure of what his worker... Like, that's why I get Blink, which you do not want against Ravager Link. It doesn't do anything. But I'm scared of Mutas. And I'm getting more gas because it's too risky to move out with this army. Even if you have recall, you'll lose too much. By the time you realize it's time to recall, it's usually too late. So, in this scenario, also I'm very light on the gate. I only have 6 gates. That's not enough gates. Part of the reason I'm not banking up money is because I'm building probes constantly, which don't really need to do. Look at the worker count. 61 to 49. I could have added on 2 more gates quicker. So this is me. I'm scared of Mutis. I haven't seen a big round of units. I'm scared of Mutis. And the best defense against Mutis, especially if you opened with a robo, is a good offense. You don't let them get to the spire before you're up in their grill. So I know he spotted it though. You have to realize, like, when those Zerglings get killed, he's spotting it. I send the Warp Prism across. I know an Overlord or a Zergling spotted it. I see more roaches being built, which is actually like a little bit more peace of mind, because roaches, roaches are a known quantity. I counter roaches by building more of the same stuff. Yeah, double upgrades, no gas there. At this point, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Mutis. You can't be 100%, but now we got to go Storm, build more Immortals, get more upgrades. Just don't die. Just keep them busy, get as close to 200 supply as possible. Get Storm. Honestly, probably should have had Storm way quicker instead of going Blink. The Blink was just a reaction to potentially Mutis being already on the way. We don't really need a 4th here. Like, the worker count, even though he has a 4th, if he's still on this unit composition, he doesn't have the economy. Like, I'm still okay. And it's 65 to 48 workers. That's pretty sloppy. But anything that keeps him busy, I really should be constantly chrono boosting Storm. I think I only chrono boost Storm like half the time here. I'm trying to figure out where he is. Yeah, that's not happening. Chrono boost Storm and nailed. This is my crowning achievement, is actually hitting force fields. I sent a couple zealots out. Okay, let's see if those zealots bought me the time I needed. Because if you watch like Neeb, always trying to do this, always trying to have some, or special, or Cyril. There's always something to distract the opponent. So in this case, did those zealots buy me the 5 seconds more I needed for Storm? And of course that adds up over time. But so force fields, corrosive bile, pulling back. Nope, it did not. He was just reorganizing. I was much more scared. Well, I should be scared. I should be scared of this army. It's 200 supply of Ravager Baneling. The Storm finishes just in time. And that goes well. I'm trying to stagger the force fields as best I can. And now this is a real struggle. I'm trying to split off the Templar that don't have energy to build Archons, but since I have the mouse accuracy of an actual mouse, it takes me like 7 seconds to do it. Like, oh my god. Jesus Christ. We eventually get there. Because I still really want Storm, but Archons are super important as well. So, here I realized he was trying to set up a triple flank. Triple flank. Because I saw units on the left and the right, so I tried to jump as many units as I could get, and it works out, and kind of just headed off. And it ends up working out pretty well. So at this point, there are 2 options. Either those Mutas are coming, unlikely, because he committed so much gas to Banelings. 2, that's all he's got, and he's just going to have another 200 supply of Ravager Ling. Or 3, he's going to Hive, and more tech. Because after like the first set of storms, you have to make a decision as Zerg of whether you think you can beat this before they get enough storm. And he's going Hive, but his Hive tech is a little late. So I need to be out there. Like, I don't think he's going Rabbit, but just more of the same. But once I'm able to get a 4th base, if you're able to do this type of stuff against a Zerg who doesn't have broods yet, then it's going pretty well. I think I see the Greater Spire in a moment. And then you get a clock on Broodlords, which is super important. Oh yeah, it didn't start yet. Those Zealots are doing damage. I'm really, like, I may have said it out loud, but I'm thinking, like, do not get too cute. Do not try to do, like, a triple prong super flank here. Just kill the bases, join up with your Templar, get in there. So at this point, the biggest danger is Broodlords, because this army is countered by a healthy amount of Broodlords. And I've got the Zealots, but I noticed the Greater Spire there, so I have a clock on the Greater Spire, which means somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute and a half from now, there will be broods. And we have to assume it's 30 seconds. Thank you, 101 pass. What's the time, Mom? Glad you still enjoy. This is where I'm like, either he's way poorer than I thought, or he is going Broodlords. Maybe a little bit of both. Because I just killed 2 bases and he doesn't fight until the second base is dying. So I'm already, like, this is what I almost never do, is actually get out ahead of the Broodlords. My usual plan is to have a great mid-game, and then kind of complain when Broodlords come out and be like, oh, I guess he wins now. But phrase it better than that, instead of actually just countering them. But this game, I still didn't do that. This game, I just kill them before Broodlords, so it's usually the plan. Yeah, at this point, it's guaranteed. Well, I already saw the Greater Spire, but it's definitely... I see Corruptors there, which means they're not Broodlords, because that's how Corruptors work. And at this point, you could just go blank Starcraft. The scariest part was before Storm finished and taking a fort. But I didn't get enough gates up in time. My SimCity was kind of mediocre. Needed to have the Warp Prism with the army to defend. If you're going to have a Warp Prism, either you're counterattacking or defending with it. You don't sit there doing nothing. And those are the big ones. So, and also, I actually landed force fields. That's most of why we watched that.
You are now in my service.
It actually happened. It's harder than... It's like, well, just point and click. Like, well, you just summarized all of esports. So, why don't you go point and click? Thank you, Crunny. Just click on the heads. All right, just... But maybe something like that. I never... here's the thing. Is there's a small percentage of games that I think I'm personally good enough to be like, this is how you play. And a lot of people will be like, well, but seeing your mistakes helps me. It's like, eh. Because some of the games I win but are close are because both sides make big mistakes. Games I lose are, I'd say a minority of them are actually like, wow, he outplayed me. It's more like, oh, I got supply blocked at a key time. And that's, honestly, I'm barely playing a strategy game. Okay, I'm Master 1. I'm actually getting closer to GM now. Again, it's been a while. I am barely just tasting a strategy game. But it's mostly point and click. Right place, right time. And do enough of that, and you get to play a little bit of strategy. Sounds bad, but that's what it boils down to.